chapter was gas. So Flashy was about to take the deal. I didn't expect that. I expected Sonic to take the deal because of what we had seen before, right? We had seen him eat the monster cells. We had seen his drive after Saitama. Everything was saying that if somebody offered him great power and real great power without any necessarily negative side effects, that he would go for it. But the temptation didn't turn out that way. And it sounds like Sonic is the one who had more of a reason or more of the ability to not take the temptation than Flashy Flash did. At first, I thought it was like some Pride Month stuff that Murata and Win are trying to slide in there, but no. It looks like Flashy Flash is after Sonic's ambition. That's what his dream was. Sonic's dream is the dream of Flashy. Is the goal that Flashy had. Sonic's the one who proposed it. It was Sonic's intentions originally. So it makes sense that that childhood aspiration that he had, that he always wanted to achieve or attain, but he couldn't have because of all the different obstacles and how the world actually turned out, that would still be something that he was trying to strive after. So that's why Sonic was able to turn down a deal much more so than Flashy Flash was. Because Flashy Flash's ambition was someone else's ambition. He was trying to escape that nightmare that is reality, while Sonic's trying to change that nightmare. And I think that's also the biggest difference as to what Empty Wood is pointing out when he mentioned that as equals you can't maintain a good friendship. Because he's right, there's a difference in skill there between Sonic and Flashy. But there's also a difference in ambition, as he pointed out as well too. And I think what he was really trying to get at is the fact that when you have two people who are equal, the sense of competition, the sense to know who is stronger will overcome that friendship to a certain degree. You may still be cordial, and you may in the long run still be friends or very, very good friends because of what you both went through. But that sense of competition will always agitate you, especially if you're actual equals, especially if you're in a sense, if you're in an arena where you have to actually compete. There was some dialogue that was weird for me though. The let's wrap this up and leave promptly. Is he talking to God? Like, I'm not sure if this is a translation issue or if he's speaking in plural in terms of the both of the ninjas, because he did double back to actually try and convince Flashy. But I'm not sure if God's involved here. I kind of been getting a sense that there may be more to what Empty Void is doing than just like the other people who were blessed. Maybe God is having some direct influence with them, or maybe he even is an avatar for God. But the dialogue towards the end of the chapter, kind of like that was in black, kind of pushed that idea to the side for me. Become my arms and legs and work with me towards the extermination of humanity. I shall use my dimension slash from hyperspace to clean up the trash on the surface. It's almost as if that's God speaking, but this is kind of the same thing that Empty Void would say too, especially the whole clean up the trash on the surface thing. I've never necessarily heard God talk like that, but he's talked in a lot of different ways, and he hasn't said that to us. So let's see what this is really about. Let's see the extent of his powers, because immediately after this, we get to see the real, we get to see what Empty Void's really about. Exactly what Blast was talking about, him hiding in the space between dimensions, was depicted here. He called it being outside of causality, the causality of the universe, which makes sense, as things happen, everything has a cause and effect. So when you're outside of that principle, then that would technically be outside of the dimension, outside of the universe, because everything's connected in that sense. That's what the whole Big Bang principle is about. This is supposed to be a depiction of the many worlds theory, included into that perception, where every different permutation that happens at the quantum level can lead to a different possibility. And in this depiction here, those are coexisting possibilities, because it looks like that Empty Void is able to maybe even interact with the different instances that has occurred. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that really means, like, at all. Are these different worlds or different timelines, or is there still a single principle, a timeline? I think that's the case. I think that the fact that there's a single bubble that he attacked means that there's a set timeline for that dimension. There may be others that different possibilities to split off from, but there's one main timeline that he's sticking on. He then hit it with a dimensional slash. As he described it, you fold up the universe or the planet or the space, or however you want to consider it. You fold that up and you use a special technique to attack directly. Now, whether this means you can attack a rock or whether this means you can attack the entire planet itself, I don't know. But I think that's going to be something we see, and that's going to be added into the range of Empty Void. How big can his attacks get? How much of a range does he actually have? The last point I want to touch on is Blast himself. Blast congratulated Flashy and Sonic for not taking the deal, but he also, came in and did that thing. He protected Sonic from the Dimensional Slash and then delivered a blow to Empty Void. We've been talking about for a while now that Empty Void's got to be that guy, as we talked about earlier too, that, yeah, he took Garou's blessing. Yeah, he was already blessed. Yeah, he was equals with Blast before any blessings were involved. And now he's at this point. But as we just saw and as we heard, he put Empty Void to sleep for 15 years. And now he's back, and the first time they fight, he hits him like this. The story isn't portraying Blast as not having the upper hand. The story is portraying Blast as, I think, almost being the dominant force, protecting the Earth, and being a problem for Empty Void himself, especially the frustration that he showed initially. I wouldn't be surprised if Blast has some secret capability or some secret intelligence that gives him the upper hand up against these people who are fighting with God. Maybe there's some real power source. Black Sparrow mentioned whenever Homeless Emperor was going off up against Tatsumaki that his orbs didn't necessarily seem to have an energy source. Where is it coming from? It's almost infinite. Tatsumaki pointed it out as well. Where's your energy source coming from? I would not be surprised if Blast has a way of cutting off the blessing. Cutting off maybe some of the energy that the blessing gives, maybe some of the potency. I don't know exactly how it would play out, but he has something up his sleeve that we haven't seen yet, and I'm here for it. Yo ho ho!